Hello and welcome to GadgetGuideUSA. Thanks for watching my Viotek VT-365 ATX computer case product review. As you can see here, I've already got it out of the packaging. It was shipped to me in your standard, brown shipping box with styrofoam on each end, wrapped in plastic for water prevention. As you can see, it got here in perfect shape. If this looks familiar to you, if it's because I've already done a VT-365 review, it was actually one of my first ones I posted on YouTube, and it was horrible. The lighting was horrible. The cropping was horrible, so I just decided to remake it. I had the opportunity to get this. I'm doing a build for a friend of mine, and of course I'm a big Viotek fan. He liked the black and red, so this is what we went with. It's actually the exact same case I have at home, so I guess I'm a fanboy, what can I say? And let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, this is the front of the case. It has the standard black and red. It doesn't come in any other colors as far as I know. Some of the things I really like about this are these vented holes. You may not, I imagine you can see the fact that they're, they look like holes, but if you look at the back here, you can actually see this foam. And what this does is it allows, air to get through, which heat is one of the biggest enemies of computer components. Heat is one of the main causes of failure. So it allows airflow. In addition, it also allows, it also stops dust. So this foam is going to stop the majority of dust, not all of it. It's not a HEPA filter, but it's going to stop a majority of it. It's going to stop pet hair and things like that from getting in addition to the airflow. And of course, we like that. I'm going to go ahead and take this back off here. The side panels are held on just by these two screws, which is pretty standard as far as computer cases these days. You basically just unscrew them by hand there. And we're going to go ahead and take that off just so we can go ahead and grab these cables and take a look at them. I haven't even opened this yet. I've opened a lot of these Viotek computer cases though. I'm kind of a fan. So we have our, as you can see there, we have two USB 3.0 ports. And here's your USB 3.0 header. When you're purchasing this, and you're purchasing your motherboard, just make sure that your motherboard has a USB 3.0 header. It'll look, like the opposite version of that. So we have the two USB 3.0 ports on front, and of course we like that. It has your media inputs right there, which is of course just a headphone jack and a mic jack. Of course your motherboard will also have them, so you'll have them on the front and rear. The connector for that is right here. It's also known as an HD audio connector. Just to note, this case does not have an AC97 connector. That's not really a connector I've ever used, but some of them have the HD audio, and then in addition running off, they'll have a AC97. I've never really used the AC97, but I just like to have extra plugs, I guess. I don't know. I always like options, even if I'm not using them. What can I say? And these other cords there are just, every ATX case is going to have them. It's got one for your power switch, which is located right there, and that's to turn the computer on and off. It has your hard drive LED, which really controls this red light right here, which I've heard people say, oh, that's when your computer is thinking. I guess that's a good enough term, but basically it means that it's pulling information off the hard drive or it's interacting with the hard drive in some way. Then we have your power LED. And there's your positive and negative, so that's going to be that green light there that shows you when the computer is on. Then we have the reset switch here, which of course we all know what the reset button does. Computer freezes up, we don't want to just turn it off and on, you click that reset button. And then we've already went over the power switch, so we're done with the cords there. So the next thing we're going to talk about is of course some of the things that come with the VT-365 computer case, which includes two fans. One is right here, and this is an 80mm cooling fan. It comes with both the male and female. So basically, what this is, you can plug this into your motherboard fan switch, and then you can plug an additional one in. So you can run multiple fans off one motherboard power supply for fans. It's not that big of a deal in most cases because most people only put one fan in their computer on the very back, which this one does, down here on the back, which this one does have room for the back, but in addition it has one fan on the side, an 80mm. It's also a blinky light fan or cooling fan, or a light up fan, illuminated fan, whatever you want to say it, I guess. And it looks great, and when the fan spins it adds like this whirlwind effect. It looks really neat. It's pretty bright. I wish I had a power supply here in the studio to show you. I will say it's bright, but it's not like super bright. So, I would say it's just about the perfect level. It's not going to disturb you, like at night. It's not going to be like, oh my god. But it's also not going to be like super bright during the day. So just keep that in mind. But it does look really cool when you start spinning it. So that's a feature I really like. In addition to the 80mm fan that came with it, It also comes with a 120mm fan, underneath here. And as you can see, the front just pops out. That's normal. It normally doesn't come out so violently, but I'm kind of clumsy. So it also has the 80mm fan here, or the 120mm fan, and I'm just going to try to hold that and see if we can get them both in the shot there. So I hope they're both in the shot there, but you can see the difference between the 80mm right there and the 120mm right there. It's still a light up fan. It still blinks. It has a whirlwind effect. It's not a lot brighter than the 80mm fan either. They're pretty much about the same brightness, but you can everything's clear, so you can actually see inside this and see the copper windings that make up the motor. I think that's neat. You'll never see it, but you know, I guess you're seeing it now. So, and of course, as you look here, this is the undercase, and this is that foam that's made to prevent, you know, pet hair and dust from getting in. You can see it here. You can kind of see some of the electronics. They're very well made. I mean, I always like to look at things closely. If you look at the back here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we don't have any loose solder joints. We don't have any, you know, anything bad looking. It looks professionally manufactured, so of course we like that. Push the buttons and make sure, you know, nothing, making sure nothing's bad. And of course, that way when this fan blows, not only is it pulling cool air in, which is great, it's also not going to pull any pet hair or dust in. And of course we like that. So now the next step I'm going to go ahead and flop it over. We're going to talk about the inside, but I want to get a good shot, so we're going to go ahead and kill the camera and restart. Alright, and we're back here. As you can see, we have a side view, which is essentially where this case is here. So as you can see, this essentially just, you have these lock-ins here and your feet, and if I can do this successfully, it should be easy, and it locks in, and you basically put the side back on with that. On the side here, you have your 80mm fan, and in the front there is the 120mm fan, just to keep just to keep you up to date. We've already went over those cables. Just so you know, this has the exact same type of connector that the 80mm fan is. Just to give you a good view of that, we're going to go there. It has both the male and female to connect multiple fans. So the inside of this has two front-facing 5.25-inch bays for DVD-ROMs or DVD readers, whatever you have there, and I kind of showed you that earlier, where this comes off, and I do like these plastic clips and everything. That makes it really easy to take them on and off when you're changing and doing modifications and things like that. So of course we like that, and of course we like the dust protection. It has the two 5.25-inch bays, but in addition it has two more 5.25-inch storage bays. Or no, I'm sorry, it has two 5.25-inch storage bays here, and it has an additional one where you could slide something, if you wanted to hold something in the 5.25. But just be aware that this third bay right here doesn't have a front-facing exit, so you're not going to be able to put 3 DVD-ROM drives in there. It has four 3.5-inch 3.5-inch bays for hard drives and things like that. Most people, put stuff in there. I know I generally go with one solid-state drive and one standard magnetic drive, but some people want to go overboard, and that's something we do need to talk about because this clearance right here is not the best. When you install a video card, so we're going to go to the back here, installs your place for the fan. When you install your video card, the very first, you're going to put your video card normally in the very topmost or top two most if you run an SLI. Or Crossfire, or whatever your chosen brand is. It's going to go basically right here. And if you put your hard drive in one of these top two bays and you have a gigantic video card, it's going to be difficult to get in there if it will go in there at all. So even though this has 4 hard drive bays, I'm going to recommend you only use the bottom 2. That fits me fine because I only normally use 2. I use a solid state drive and a standard magnetic, so that's great for me. But those of you that are putting in 4 hard drives or something like that and a large video card, and you're building this huge rig, then you might want to actually go with a different case. But for most power users, most standard users, this will be fine. Just install your hard drive or your 2 hard drives in the bottom 2 3.5-inch bays and you'll be fine. The build goes really easy. There's plenty of room to work in here, but like I said, just if you put a large video card, don't use the top 2 bays. You'll save yourself some trouble. It includes your screws here. You got gold posts and silver screws. Essentially what it is, first you put the gold post down, and then you lay your motherboard down, and then you put the silver screws through your motherboard, and the silver screws screw into the gold posts. So the idea behind that is that the gold posts hold the motherboard up off of this metal here so it doesn't short any of those soldering contacts or anything. And then the screws actually hold the motherboard down to the gold posts. If you've ever built a computer, of course, that you understand that, but for you guys, maybe this is your first build, and this is a great case for first builds. That's just something, spit it out there. So like I said, if you have a large video card, use the bottom 2 hard drive bays, not that big of a deal. We're going to go ahead and look at the back. It's going to have all your standards. It's got your PCI slots. It has one. If you notice this one looks different, it's because that is a slot cover. So if you're going to put a video card here, then you can actually take that out and put it in one of these if you've knocked out too many. Those are called knockouts because if you just whack them, they'll fall out. But that's not really a big deal. It's just aesthetics. But when you buy a great looking case like this with some great looking blinky light fans, you really want to, just make sure it looks good. So we have a space for another 80mm fan here, and it has both mounting options. So not only does the case come with an 80mm fan for the side, a 120mm fan for the front, you can install an additional 80mm fan for the back. This is where your motherboard outputs would go. This is where your VGA would be if you have internal video, your PS2 for your mouse and keyboard, your additional USB ports, your Ethernet ports. Anything like that is going to probably fall in this area, or hopefully. And then you have your standard top mount power supply mount. So, I mean, that's pretty standard as far as, most ATX cases have a top mount power supply mount. Let me think. I think I went ahead and covered everything today. But in the end, this is really a case I like. Of course, I have this case for my own personal computer at home, the VT-365, and a friend of mine was looking through the cases, and it was a good value. He likes the black and red, and of course it comes with the free fan, so you can't deny it. So he's really going to enjoy this build. It has plenty of room for me working around in here when I actually put it together for him, so of course I like that. Anything to make my job easier, of course, is awesome. So once again, this VT-365 is definitely a product I recommend, and it's something I think that you'll enjoy using. It's a solid case, whether you're a mid-level user all the way up to a power user, as long as you don't want to install three or four hard drives in addition to a large video card. As long as that's not your case, this is going to be a great case for you. I hope you enjoyed my product review today. Subscriptions are always appreciated. Thank you. If you have any comments, they're welcome at the bottom of the page. And if you ever have any specific questions, comments, or suggestions, please email me at GadgetGuideUSA@gmail.com. Thank you for your time.